Hi, everybody. So we are so excited. We are here to do one of our uh, brackets that we've done for animation, we've done for 90s movies, and today we are doing romance movies. And I had to call in a new team, a different team than I've done before. This is an all ladies edition, and I'm so excited. And I have my friends Laura and Jennifer here to do this with me. And do you guys want to just introduce yourself just a little bit to our audience? Starting with Jennifer.
Sure. I'm Jennifer, Jennifer Chandler. I'm married to Sean Chandler from Sean Chandler Talks About, and I am excited to do this. I've never done anything like this before, so, but I do watch a lot of romantic comedies, so I feel like I'm kind of qualified.
Yeah, definitely. What about you?
Well, I'm Laura. My husband is Durbin from Durbania, and I guest star on his channel from time to time. And I will say I like romantic comedies, but a handful of these I hadn't seen before, so I've been doing a lot of catch up this last couple weeks.
Oh, good. I'm glad. All right. Well, we're gonna dive in. First pairing that I have is Audrey Hepburn pairing. We've got Roman Holiday versus Breakfast at Tiffany's. And I will start. And for me, these are both really good movies, but I'm going to go with Breakfast at Tiffany's because it's one of my favorite movies. And what about you, Jennifer?
I honestly, I watched the trailers for both of them because it's been such a long time since I've seen them. I'm going to have to go with Roman Holiday. She wakes up from her night of sedation, and I'm like, what? It'd be so amazing to wake up and be Audrey Hepburn. Like, I know that's like ridiculous, but I like the way she acts. I like her personality. Yeah. I like the chemistry between the two characters, and it just seems a little bit more romantic. Breakfast at Tiffany's seems a little funnier to me. Not that that's bad, but that's why I picked it.
That sounds good. Laura, you've got to break the tie.
I actually went with Roman Holiday also.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I had so much fun. I had not actually seen that movie before, so I was able to watch like a whole bunch of clips on YouTube. And almost the entire movie is up there if you go through all the different clips. And it was just, I mean, I had so much fun with it. I'm like her exploring the world and just kind of experiencing it and having fun. And I don't know, I felt like Breakfast at Tiffany's, it was a romantic comedy, but I kind of got very annoyed with her character. And so I had a lot more fun with Roman Holiday.
Yeah, I can understand that. And it is very sweet. And that's the one she won her Oscar for. So yeah, it's really good. It was all filmed in Rome, and totally understandable. All right, next we have Cary Grant showdown. We've got His Girl Friday versus Bring Up Baby. And I will, this is hard. Both of these I like a lot, but I'm going to go with Bringing Up Baby.
I said the same thing. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Cary Grant, but definitely went with Bringing Up Baby.
Yeah, same with me. I love that movie. I thought it was so much fun.
Yeah, it's so funny.
They're hilarious.
All right. Next, we have Casablanca versus Gone with the Wind. I'm going to go with Casablanca.
I did the same.
Oh, I went with Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, it's really
they're
hard.
Both classics, but
they
Gone with the Wind is so long. And I know that's a weird reason.
No, it is, but I dressed up as Scarlett O'Hara like when I was a kid for Halloween. So I have a special place in my heart for that.
That's fair.
Yeah, my grandmother loved Gone with the Wind, and so I kind of have a special place in my heart for it. And it still holds up. Like the filmmaking is just so beautiful, but it is really long, and there's some parts that are just like, I don't know, I'm a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, there are.
I don't know nothing about birth and no babies. I'm like, So we have Singing in the Rain versus The Sound of Music, and I'm gonna go with Sound of Music. One of my favorite movies. I love it. This is tough. This is a tough one.
That was a really tough one for me because I like both of them. They're both, you picked really good ones in the same category, and I wrestled with that one, but I went Singing in the Rain.
Mm.
That I was in the same boat, and I also went with Singing in the Rain. I love it. I love Singing in the Rain. It's just so much fun, and Sound of Music is a little depressing.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the
With the
story,
Nazis,
so
yeah.
and like the girl's boyfriend turns against her, and there that whole 16 going on. I'm just like, that's just you know, it was just the first half. I would be good.
Yeah. All right. So now we're getting into our to a different bracket. We have Love Story versus Say Anything. And I'm going to go with Say Anything. Love it. I think it's so well written. The relationship between the father and the daughter, I think, is so well written. It's a great coming of age story. So, and Love Story is good, but it's just a little too weepy for my taste.
Oh, it's so depressing. My mom, when I was younger, was like, "Oh, this is one of my favorite movies." And so by myself, I watched it and I was like, this is the most depressing movie I've ever seen. So I went with Say Anything as well, just for the tone of it and for the fun of it.
Now, I'd only seen Say Anything, so I watched a trailer for the other one, and the trailer just, it hurt me. So
the movie will hurt you more.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. So I went with Say Anything.
Okay. All right. Now we have Somewhere in Time versus Titanic.
This one killed me. I'm curious to hear y'all's thoughts on this.
I'm gonna go with Titanic. People are very critical of it, but I still think, especially once the iceberg is hit, I think it's pretty compelling. I mean, yeah, it's soapy and it's over the top, but I think it's a good movie. I like it. And got a great score, James Horner score, and so Somewhere in Time is good, but it's just not as memorable to me. It's more forgettable. So I'm going to go with Titanic.
Yeah, I'm going to admit I'm completely biased. Titanic came out exactly. I was the target audience for Titanic, and I think I saw it 5 times in the theater. So like, I don't know that Somewhere in Time ever really had a chance because it's Titanic. But I liked Somewhere in Time. I've watched it, and even just kind of refreshing with the trailers, I was like, I need to watch that again. But Titanic is the winner for sure for me.
I also went with Titanic because the other movie I got Durbin actually interested in it because it has Christopher Reeves in it, you know, Superman.
Yeah.
But Titanic just, I mean, there's so many cheesy lines in Titanic, but again, target audience. I think I was in like 10th grade when it came out.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, and I saw it a whole bunch of times in theaters too.
Yeah, when it came out, I was like a contrarian teen because all my friends were like so into it, and I was like, oh, I don't like that. But as now I've sort of matured out of that, and I like it.
Titanic is the juggernaut winner in that one.
Yeah. Next up, we have Annie Hall versus Overboard. So the 80s showdown here. And I'm going to go with Overboard. I think Overboard's really funny, and they have such great chemistry, and it's slapstick and over the top. And Annie Hall is really well written, but I don't know. I just enjoy Overboard more.
I agree. I went with Overboard as well. It's just hilarious, and I love the two of them together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same for me. I'm not a huge Woody Allen fan, so that's why Overboard for me was a clear-cut winner.
That's a good point.
Did you guys see the remake?
No, I haven't.
No.
Have you?
Yes. It's not awful. Like the
trailers recommendation.
Yeah. The trailers made it look terrible, but it's not. It's just like more fine. It's just a fine movie. But it's just not as funny. They made it really, I felt like they took out the comedy and put in sincerity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So it's just like sweet, but it's not as funny as the original Overboard. But I
feel like if they really wanted to redo it, and do a good job with it, they should have used Kate Hudson.
That's what I said.
And Matthew McConaughey.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That would have been good.
They're just like they're almost the same as them.
Yeah.
I mean, in this era.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know there's the whole reconnaissance and stuff, but I think it would have been fun to have gotten to see Matthew McConaughey back in romantic comedies again because he hasn't done one in so long.
Yeah. Would
But
have been good.
it's I think you guys would enjoy it. It's watchable.
Mm-hmm.
I'll check it out.
So
When it
yeah, if
comes
it's
to
on,
Redbox, I'll watch it.
yeah, that's the
Netflix,
perfect,
yeah.
it's the perfect rental. But anyway, okay. So next we have Grease versus Footloose. And actually I'm not. I like the songs in Grease, but I hate the message at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So and Footloose actually has, I think, a nice message about family and sticking to the man kind of thing. So I'm gonna go with Footloose.
I think I hemmed and hawed over that because I remember when the new Footloose came out, I rewatched the old one and I was like, man, this is just so slow. Like it was just the pacing of the movie was really brutal. But I mean, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy has brought back Footloose and Kevin Bacon and all these references that are just hysterical to me. So I actually went with Grease, but I had it was like neck and neck. And I only went with Grease because I like the music better.
I also went with Grease, but that's because I just always loved watching this movie like on VH1 when I was growing up. Back when I had cable, and it's like, and now you'd only watch it in pieces, and it was always made a little nicer because it was on TV.
Yes.
So I didn't, get the full message until I became but I still always enjoyed that movie more than Footloose.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw that movie with my parents. Like they remembered it as this fantastic movie, and then we all watched it together, and my mom was really uncomfortable. Yeah. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know. Just the ending of Grease annoys me.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah,
Oh, I do too.
That she has to change. But
he also changes for her too.
It's true, but
she just has to wear tight leather to do it.
Yeah. All right, so we have next up The Princess Bride versus Romancing the Stone, and both these actually are really fun movies. So it's tough, but I'm gonna go with Princess Bride. I just love it. I think it's so funny, and I think it's like a modern day fairy tale, an original fairy tale. You got like you're storming the castle, and you got your sword fights, and you got your pirates and your enchanted forests, and it's just really fun. I think really romantic, great kiss, and so but Romancing the Stone is really fun too. So it is one that I think they could remake. I could see it. I think it could be fun. But I'm still gonna go with Princess Bride.
This was one of the toughest ones for me because I love Romancing the Stone. Sean introduced it to me at some point after we got married. And for a while there, like it was like the movie I put on every night before I went to bed. Like that was just my go-to fun adventure movie.
It's really funny.
It's so funny. And it's just so well done. I love that one. But Princess Bride is classic. I think it's a smart one. They're very witty. The writing is very witty. I like the way they set it up as a story with the grandpa and the grandson. And aside from a little outdated special effects, largely it holds up very well. And it's the most quotable movie I think I'm aware of right now. It's the most widely known movie that people just quote back and forth at random. So I went with Princess Bride.
I also went with Princess Bride. I mean, Romancing the Stone is great, but Princess Bride is classic.
It is classic. Yeah.
It's something that you can put on whenever. And I mean, the last summer, my 5-year-old nephew was out here sword fighting with Durbin. And it was so funny because as he went down, he yelled out, "As you wish." And I'm like, even a 5-year-old is getting into it. I'm like, so I had to go with Princess Bride. That was an easy one for me.
That's awesome.
All right, we have the Meg Ryan bracket here. We have face off. We have When Harry Met Sally versus Sleepless in Seattle. And Sleepless in Seattle, I think, is actually super touching. I love Nora Ephron, the writer. Mm-hmm. She's such a great writer with dialogue I just love the way that she describes grief And when he's talking about, I just get up every day and I breathe in and breathe out. Oh, I just die every time.
And, well, an entire nation fell in love with him.
Yeah. And When Harry Met Sally, I think it's so funny and it's so true and it's such an interesting sort of look at friendship. So this one's really tough for me, but I'm going to go with When Harry Met Sally.
Wow, that surprised me based on your intro there.
It's tough, but I don't know. Yeah,
I agree with everything that you said. The deciding factor for me was I was trying to go, okay, this is a romance bracket. If I'm in the movie for a romantic movie, which one am I going to pick? And so I went with Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah,
I like When Harry Met Sally. I like the longevity of the story. And like you said, the story of friendship. I think it's just super fun. And they're great together. I just watched it actually in a hotel. I was on a trip for work and it was on TV. It was like this it's Mother's Day. It's like this Mother's Day marathon of romantic movies. So I rewatched When Harry Met Sally by myself in a hotel. It was so much fun. But
the ending is so good. And I love Carrie Fisher.
Yes.
In it as well. She's so funny. That scene with the table. They're like, I will never want your wagon wheel table.
That was great. It's like you said, it's so real. Like I know people that have conversations like that.
I haven't seen either of these movies in probably like 10, 15 years.
Okay,
it's
not
been a long
ever.
time. Oh, yeah, not ever.
Okay.
Not ever. And I
like, we need to stop this right now.
I know. So I had to I watched a trailer for both of them and kind of said which one jumped out at me more. And it was definitely Sleepless in Seattle. It held more of I remembered more of the movie. It held more of a special romantic / comedy type feel for me. And so that's why I went that route.
Yeah. It's a great movie. I mean, the only thing too is they hardly spend any time together.
Yeah.
But it's got such a great cast. I love the Sleepless in Seattle cast. You've got David Hyde Pierce in a small role. Rosie O'Donnell's in there. It's just really fun. So, all right. We have 16 Candles versus Some Kind of Wonderful. And I think Some Kind of Wonderful is super underrated. I think it's personally better than The Breakfast Club. I know it's shocking to say, but I do. And I love the writing. I think that Leah Thompson's character is actually really well written. And she could be just a throwaway. It's just like the popular girl that's stupid, but she's not. And there's more to her than that. And 16 Candles is fine. It's fun. But for me, I don't know. I just think the character's a little bit better in Some Kind of Wonderful. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Excellent. I actually went the same. I'm a big Leah Thompson fan. I love Jaws 3. She's in that. Obviously Back to the Future. But I just went that because I like Leah Thompson.
Yeah.
So she carried it over for me.
Mine deals more with an 8th grade sleepover. We watched both of those movies that night, actually.
No way.
I know. And 16 Candles is the one that I remember we quoted the most afterwards, and we laughed more in that one. So I went with 16 Candles.
Yeah. There are so many movies that I call sleepover movies, like something like Dirty Dancing or The Cutting Edge. Or these 16 Candles, Some Kind of Wonderful. Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I would definitely in there. So I'm with you.
That, and then for me, a whole bunch of Disney animated movies because I really love those. So I do.
We could have a whole sleepover bracket probably.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have Notting Hill versus Four Weddings and a Funeral. And this is a little bit tough. Four Weddings and a Funeral, I think is actually really well written. It's pretty emotional at times. It has some characters that at least at that time you weren't used to seeing in a mainstream movie with the gay characters, and that's pretty heartbreaking what happens with him. But Andy McDowell is not my fave. And Notting Hill is so funny. When he does that horse and hound thing, I just die. It's hilarious. And it feels somewhat believable. I feel like this could actually happen, that they can be this way. And they have such great chemistry. And I love the scene where he introduces her to his friends. Like, that feels like real friends, like sitting around eating brownies and talking. And it feels like they've known each other for 20 years. Like, it just feels so real. And I don't know, it just works. So I'm going to go with Notting Hill.
I went with Notting Hill as well. There's just a strong nostalgia factor. Back in the day before Netflix, there were like those, I'm sure they still exist, those movie like subscriptions, and you could pick, so many movies a month, and then they'd send them to you.
Technically, Netflix still does it.
Well, like, you'd buy them.
Oh, that's right. I remember now.
It was like a club, and so you'd subscribe and you'd pick so many movies a month. And I'm pretty sure it was a VHS. So I'd have to check. But so Notting Hill was when I got through that subscription, and so it was one of the first movies that I remember buying as an independent purchase, as opposed to my parents owned it.
Yeah,
so, it's Hugh Grant, and how do you go wrong there, really?
Yeah, both of these are Hugh Grant.
Well,
and Julia Roberts. So
yeah,
which I like Julia Roberts, but
yes.
So I also went with Notting Hill. I did not like Four Weddings and a Funeral. That movie just irritates me. I'm like, because I like all the side characters. I did not like the two main actors. Like in this, it just, and like the whole concept behind it. Oh, it just irritated me to my core. Like, they're at the wedding and she shows up like an idiot. And I'm like, this could be as happily ever after. And you're just going to, I just was very, very annoyed. So I liked all the side characters. I hated the main characters. Sorry, I'm a little passionate about that one. And then I heard they're coming out with a TV show about it. And I'm like, I'm never going to watch that. So.
Well, at least they won't have Andie MacDowell, who's who is not my favorite Andie MacDowell. But anyway, so despite her being a Hallmark darling, all right, next we have Clueless versus Can't Hardly Wait. And Can't Hardly Wait is fun, but Clueless is like my high school, like, it came out when I was a freshman in high school, and it was like so important to me. And I just actually saw it last night at a local indie theater by Art House Theater, and they do this summer nights thing, which is they screen these classics, and it totally holds up. It's so funny and so well written, and I just love it. So Clueless for me.
I also went with Clueless. I've only seen Can't Hardly Wait once, and I remember it being funny but just not memorable.
Yeah.
And the classic. Sean loves Clueless. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but that was part of what carried my vote, is that he has such an affinity for it, which cracks me up. So I went with Clueless.
I love Clueless. That movie is so much fun.
Yeah.
And I like that it's based off of Emma by Jane Austen. Yeah. And it's just, there's just something about it that it's just, because I've seen a lot of different adaptations of Emma. And I'm like, this one was just, I just had so much fun with it. And the whole movie, I just enjoyed it. There isn't a part that I really can't stand in it. So it's a good movie.
It's so fun. Beauty and the Beast versus Lady and the Tramp, the Disney version. And both these movies are, I think, quite excellent and very iconic for their romantic scenes in Disney. But just for nostalgia's sake alone, I'm going to go with Beauty and the Beast.
I knew I was going to get stuck on this one. You put this in here and I was like, oh, Rachel. So I'm assuming I'm going to lose this one. Not that it's like a competition, but I think if you'd asked me this question 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I probably would have said Beauty and the Beast. I think right now I'm just so Beauty and the Beasted out. There's so much of that going on. So when I think of Lady and the Tramp, it's a little bit of a fresher, different sort of spin. So I went with Lady and the Tramp, but plus the spaghetti scene is just so stinking cute. And
live action remakes, they ruin everything.
Well, I mean, they did a great job, and my daughter loves it, but that's probably part of the problem, is I've seen both the live action and the cartoon like 50,000 times in very recent history. So I'm like, let's watch something different. Let's watch Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah, that would do it for just about anybody.
Yeah. So mine's probably biased, but that's why I picked Lady and the Tramp.
I went with Beauty and the Beast because that's probably it alternates between my first and second, like between that and Little Mermaid. Those are my favorite 2 Disney movies. And it goes between first and second constantly. And Lady and the Tramp, I enjoyed, and it has the iconic, kissing scene with the spaghetti. But if I discount and pretend like the live action doesn't exist, Beauty and the Beast wins.
Yeah. You're a bigger person than
Lady
me.
and the Tramp. Yeah. Lady and the Tramp is so adorable though. Like, oh my gosh, there's so many just cute scenes. So I'm glad it got a vote. I really am.
Well, and the little lullaby that she sings to the baby, I sing that to my kids at night, and so again, super nostalgic. So
and Aunt Sarah is like the worst person ever.
Oh my gosh, the worst.
Yeah,
the worst. Almost as bad as Umbridge. Almost.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it really is. All right, so next we have Anastasia versus Tangled. And I love both of these. I have a lot of nostalgia for Anastasia. I want to see the Broadway show so bad. And then I love Tangled. Tangled actually brought me back into the Disney fold because as far as Walt Disney Animated Studios, I had been off of them for a long time, since pretty much from like Tarzan, I guess, all the way through to Tangled. There hadn't been one that I had loved. And I'd been into, the Pixar movies, but anyway, and I went and saw Tangled, and I was just like, wow, this is, because I don't think the name is that great, and so I was just kind of like, I don't know, but I took my siblings, and I was just like blown away. I thought the lantern scene in 3D.
Goodness.
Oh yeah,
amazing.
You saw it in 3D?
Yeah, I saw it in 3D back in the day, and yeah, I just think I think Mother Gothel is so strong as a villain. I think she's great. And so I as much as I really do love Anastasia, I think but it is a true story, which is, and kind of they bring in weird elements, so there's some sort of awkward elements to it. So it's tough, but I'm gonna go with Tangled.
Yeah, Anastasia's got the best music. I mean, just the best. I wanted to see the show as well. I love it when people post like the little sneak peeks on Facebook, and I just get to hear the music, and it's so fun. I love Anastasia, but I still will watch it and fast forward through all the Rasputin parts. And I don't like him as much. He's well played. It's just too dark for my taste. I do miss Bartok when I do that, but as a movie as a whole, Tangled is probably my favorite animated movie ever. And I just love it. So I went with Tangled just because I like to watch the whole thing instead of just parts of it. But
yeah, he's taken out of the Broadway musical. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Even more likely that I'll see it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I know he's historical, and I appreciate that they included him for that, but it was just so like, limbs falling off and gross, and it's not something I'll show my kids yet, so it's just not as much fun. Tangled, on the other hand, we'll watch that, all the time. That's always my suggestion, to get them off of whatever they're set up on that week. Like, let's watch Tangled instead.
It has such like a heart to it. It's so sweet.
It is. It's refreshing, because while they end up together at the end, it's not the damsel in distress sort of thing, or they complete each other in an unhealthy way. It's just a normal story that happens to have a romance in it, and it's sweet.
Yeah.
I love Tangled. It is probably in my top 5 movies. I can put that on whenever and just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. And like you said, it's not the typical romance. It's like an adventure, comedy, romantic type movie. And it's, they complete each other in a way, but it's not that they need each other to complete themselves.
Exactly.
and so I love that movie. It's funny, and I'm sorry, her mother knows best is probably one of my favorite villain songs. That with
it's
Poor
fantastic.
Unfortunate Souls from Little Mermaid.
Yes.
And it's just like those two together are just like they're just awesome. It's just she was an excellent villain. And one of the things I liked is the villain was a human, which isn't, common in a lot of the Disney movies because, it's just, there's something about that where I'm like, well, it shows to kids too. Well, and I don't have kids, so I can't judge that, but it shows that, people can be bad.
Right.
And it's like, you have to be smart and think about what you're doing. And it's just, I liked her as a villain. She was great.
She was fantastic. I like ever want to see movies in 3D, like ever, but I'm a little jealous that you saw Tangled in 3D.
Oh, it's good in 3D.
Yeah, it's really good. You feel like surrounded by the lanterns.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, all right. So next we have Pretty Woman versus Ghost. And these are both, I think, really fun movie. I mean, Ghost isn't fun, but it's entertaining. They're both entertaining films. And Pretty Woman, it has a lot of charming aspects to it. Great chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And the ending is really good. But I don't know. I think Ghost is just a little bit more sort of emotional. You've got the pottery scene. Hello. And Whoopi Goldberg is super funny in it. And so I'm going to go with Ghost.
I was really torn on this one. I think these brackets are really good. I was frustrated a lot. I was like, man, I thought it'd be easier to choose between movies. Mm-hmm. But Pretty Woman and Ghost in particular, like you said, they're well matched. I went with Pretty Woman just for rewatchability for me. Ghost is one I will rewatch, but not as often. And it's a little bit more lighthearted. So pretty much the exact opposite reason you picked Ghost is why I picked Pretty Woman. And I love Richard Gere and Julia Roberts together. They're just fantastic.
Yeah, they have great chemistry for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went with Pretty Woman because I like the chemistry between Richard Gere and Julia Roberts. I enjoyed the movie. I had fun throughout. And that one is something I'm much more likely to rewatch than Ghost. I think I've seen Ghost once or twice, and I've probably seen Pretty Woman like 20 times. So it's just, I would rather watch it. And so I have more fun. To me, it's more of a romantic comedy than Ghost is.
All right. So next we have 10 Things I Hate About You versus You've Got Mail. This one's easy for me. I absolutely love You've Got Mail. It's one of my most quotable movies. I just love Nora Ephron's writing in it. I love their chemistry together. I think Greg Kinnear is so hilarious in it. I think that Parker Posey is his girlfriend at the beginning is so hilarious in it. And I think it actually has like a real heart because it's about like how we identify with our jobs and like how that can just become like who, people ask, what do you do? And they're talking about your job. And I think that it's such an interesting experience and movie. And I just love it. 10 Things I Hate About You is fine, but I just love You Got Mail so much. So that's my favorite.
I was surprised by this one a little bit just because 10 Things I Hate About You, I was target audience. I've been to Seattle and seen, where they shot some of the stuff. And in theory, I feel like I would be a shoo-in for 10 Things I Hate About You, but I picked You've Got Mail hands down.
Yes.
I literally just watched it the other night. Like it's one of my go-tos. If I'm going to get a stack of movies and try and get Sean to pick something, You've Got Mail's almost always in it. It's just so good. And
Dave Chappelle's and
just everything about it is great. It's got that family vibe with the little bookstore, and I like, I don't know how realistic I think it is for him to be courting her online and in person as two different people. Would make me mad, but I love it in the movie, and so I went with You've Got Mail.
Oh, I'm going to be the odd one out, so I know I've already lost. But I love 10 Things I Hate About You. Probably part of me, I love Shakespeare, and it's based slightly off of Taming the Shrew. Or Taming of the Shrew, and it's just that movie. I loved it. I thought the chemistry between all the characters was great. Every aspect of it, and I love You Got Mail as well. It's a great movie, but there's something about 10 Things I Hate About You I would put in right away before I would put in the other. So
Yeah.
I'm the odd woman out.
That's okay.
That's
all
right.
So next we have Dirty Dancing versus Flashdance. I'm gonna go with Dirty Dancing. It is like an iconic movie in like my life. Talk about a sleepover movie.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's a lot more to it than I think people give it credit for, because like it gets pretty dark, like actually pretty dark at certain points, with the whole like abortion thing and like stuff. And but such chemistry, and the ending is just iconic, and great songs, and so and Flashdance is fun enough, but I'm gonna go with Dirty Dancing.
Well, thanks to recent marketing, whenever I think of Flashdance, I think of Deadpool.
Yeah.
So throwing that out there. But I went with Dirty Dancing as well. Just it's so good. It's just such a classic. And like you said, it covers such a broad variety of emotions, with them being at the core. But, like, I don't know how to articulate what I'm trying to say, but it's just so much about them, but all the different components that make them who they are, and then how they meet together. It's such a good movie. I love the music. Yeah. Love the music. And I would put that on before Flashdance.
Yeah.
Same here. I love Dirty Dancing. It's just so much more. Like, I sit there and I saw that bracket. I'm like, oh, this is no contest.
Yeah. It really
is. Poor Flashdance. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, Flashdance is fun in its own way, but Dirty Dancing just blows it out of the water.
It totally does.
Yeah. All right. So next we have Wedding Singer versus She's All That. So I'm not an Adam Sandler fan. I just really don't like his movies. And I think She's All That's like a take on Pygmalion. It's fun for me. So I'm gonna go with She's All That.
I think that's fair. I think this is, again, like 10 Things I Hate About You, She's All That. It's kind of in that same time period where I should be drawn more to those. But I went with The Wedding Singer. Wedding Singer just cracks me up. I'm sorry you don't like Adam Sandler. I get it. I really do. But I love The Wedding Singer. I love Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore together. I love the songs. And there's one when he's down after, I don't know, spoiler alert, after his breakup, and he's just singing and
oh yeah.
And he's just so angry, and it's so, and I guess it's terrible to laugh at his pain, but it's so funny. And when I think George, is that his assistant, his backup singer that sings, and so hilarious. My brother and I would always do that. There's that little voice in the background that goes, "You suck." Yeah. And I don't, like, we say that all the time, and every time I hear that, I think of my brother, which is, I guess, nice. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just had to go with The Wedding Singer for just personal.
It is his best.
Yes.
And like non-indie-ish movie. Like, I actually think he's in a way better at some of his dramatic roles.
Yes.
Like in Spanglish, I think he's quite as good in that and things like that. But this is definitely, Wedding Singer is definitely his best movie as far as comedies, I think. And it's the most solid. But he just, even his voice to me is just grating. I just not a fan. But
anyway, you would not pick it then.
And he burned a lot of bridges with movies like Jack and Jill. I just can't. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's fair. Totally fair.
Yeah. See, I love both The Wedding Singer and She's All That. They're both two of my like fun, like I was in high school movies. And like Adam Sandler, the other romantic comedy I like him in is 51st Dates with Drew Barrymore again. Like the two of them have great chemistry. But
have you seen that one, Rachel?
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty. It's definitely one of his better ones for sure.
Yeah, I agree. These are like, some of those were probably two of his best, at least to me. But I went with She's All That for the soccer team. And She's All That is my high school soccer team.
No way.
So yeah, so it's really, because that whole movie was filmed out where I grew up. And so it's really cool because you see it like when they're in one of the stores, I'm like, oh, I've shopped there. And I'm like, so.
No way.
Are because of that more than probably, but I also like the movie a lot too. Yeah. So I'm like, so that's why I went with She's All That.
That's really funny. I also had one of my most awkward, I shouldn't have picked it, but I had one of my most awkward dates of my life. Going to see She's All That.
I was kind of from it too.
We were like it was the first date, and everything had gone just a disaster. Like, he's put on his his car alarm, and he couldn't get it off, and everybody in my family was just like cracking up in the house, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And we got to the movie, and we were the only two people in the whole theater.
Oh
like,
gosh.
super awkward, on a date. And so just like, I don't know, it was just one of those things where everything went wrong. I can't remember if everything at the restaurant went wrong, like everything. It's like, oh, poor guy, I never heard from him again. But anyway, so we have My Big Fat Greek Wedding versus While You Were Sleeping. This one is tough. I love both these movies. I just, it's so hard. But because I love Sandra Bullock, and I love the script of While You Were Sleeping. I think they have great chemistry in there, and I love the ending, and I love the dinner table conversation scene where they're like, Cesar Romero was tall, and Nazis, all that stuff is hilarious. Big Fat Greek Wedding, though, I just think it is so funny. That script, I just watched it recently for another podcast that I did, and like when her aunt is talking about her mole with her twin, or like, it's so funny, and I totally relate to it because I have a pretty big, loud, and obnoxious family, and I think it's really hard to make. They're just starting June Brides at Hallmark, and I just find most of those movies just not my fave, because there's just these insufferable brides who are super selfish and self-absorbed, and so I think it's a tougher one to make good. Whereas While You're Sleeping is basically a kind of a Christmas movie, really. Oh, it's so hard. But I'm gonna go with Greek Wedding.
Wow, that surprises me.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really, really tough.
I agree. It's totally tough. And I agree with all the things that you just said. I had to go While You Were Sleeping because it's one of my favorite all-time movies.
Yeah.
Like, outside of the romance bracket, hands down, probably one of my top 5.
It's so good.
Ever. So I had to go with that just for loyalty's sake. But my big Fat Greek Wedding is awesome. It just
it's really tough
against While You Were Sleeping.
Mm-hmm. I went with My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I love that movie. It's so funny from beginning to end. I mean, you've got to think how many people tried to put Windex on everything after that movie.
That's true.
There's so many parts of that movie that to me are just classic. People think about it. It's like, and they just laugh. Whereas with Sleepless in Seattle, I also love that movie. But for me, I'm like, the premise, like how it starts is not my favorite. Like, the girl just is all of a sudden engaged, and to the guy that's unconscious. And that's the right movie, right? I didn't mix my
you're good. Yeah, you're good.
For some reason I thought I mixed up my movies, and I'm just like, and so that movie is great and an amazing romantic comedy, but I love My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I love how they get to know each other. To me that seems more possible.
It's definitely less of a gimmick than While You're Sleeping, but they're both really, really good. So next we have Moonstruck versus Before Sunrise. And this is really tough because Before Sunrise, I just love like the way you're just like following this couple, and you feel like you're just like a fly on the wall of this couple. I think the script is super well done. I think they have great chemistry. I love all 3 of those movies, the Before movies. But I love Moonstruck. Moonstruck is one of my favorite movies. I think that I love how rich it is because it's not just about this couple, but it's also about her mother and mother and father, their relationship, what's happening with them. And Olympia Dukakis is amazing, and I love the scene with her and John Mulaney, and when she basically just says like you're afraid to die kind of thing, and I think that it's so well done, and I love the scene when she goes to the opera, and I love Nicolas Cage. He's so great in this movie, and you're a wolf without a foot, and so good. And so I love Moonstruck. It's one of my favorite movies. So I go with Moonstruck.
I agree. I went with Moonstruck, and I like Before Sunrise, and that kind of theme you're talking about, like being a fly on the wall. But as far as like entertainment value, I would just pick Moonstruck to watch because I can watch people in real life. If I wanted to. Not to sound shady, but like I could still people watch if I wanted to. And I would prefer a little bit more plot, I guess. So I went with Moonstruck.
I remember seeing Before Sunrise, and I just remember being bored. So Moonstruck for me was an easy decision.
Yeah, it's so good. Oh. All right. So next we have Shakespeare in Love versus Slumdog Millionaire, and Shakespeare in Love I think is really a nice little period piece. Good chemistry. It's fun. It's a fun movie. But I love Slumdog Millionaire. I just think it was one of the first R-rated movies that I ever saw. And it was like just such an eye-opening experience for me. And I just love the message of like hope and how their love is what keeps them going through all these hard times and hard experiences. And it's a very uncynical movie, so you kind of have to be willing to sort of buy this whole premise and everything. But I do, and I think it's a beautiful movie. I think it has such light and colors and music and everything. And I just think it's such a hopeful film that it's one of my faves. I love it. So I'm gonna go with Slumdog Millionaire.
I'm going to agree. I went with Slumdog Millionaire as well. I was a huge fan of Shakespeare in Love when it first came out, and then I rewatched it a few years ago, and it was just different than I remembered. It was a lot racier than I remembered, and a lot on that particular part of their relationship, and so I prefer Slumdog Millionaire with a little bit more content.
Yeah.
So I have never seen Slumdog Millionaire, so I watched trailers, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about the movie. And but because of that, I haven't seen Shakespeare in Love in a long time, so I went with Shakespeare in Love. But I did not think that one would win by all means. So I'm glad that you guys both voted Slumdog.
I have fond memories of Shakespeare in Love. I just prefer my memories to the actual movie.
Agreed.
The case for me too.
You should watch Slumdog Millionaire. Is really special. I just love it. So
I've heard that it's on my list of movies I need to watch when they're available on Netflix.
So next we have Knocked Up versus 500 Days of Summer, and Knocked Up is I think one of the more tolerable Judd Apatow movies. He's not my favorite. His style of comedy. And it has a real sweetness to it, but I'm not a big fan of these like man-child movie.
Yeah.
And 500 Days of Summer, I think it is so creative and so I love like scenes like when you have like expectations versus reality. I love that scene. That's so brilliant. I think the ending is really brilliant, like because really she's not a good person and they should not be together. And so the fact that they had the guts to do that was really cool. And I just really like it. So I'm gonna go with 500 Days of Summer.
I also went with 500 Days of Summer. Knocked Up is I agree, one of the more tasteful of that genre of film or type of film. But it's not my sense of humor at all. So just between those two, I would have picked 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah.
The differences between those two.
So I'm not a huge Judd Apatow fan either, but I did like this Knocked Up, and I liked the 40-Year-Old Virgin. Those were probably the only two of his movies that I've really liked. And 500 Days of Summer, I know I saw it, and I don't really remember it. So it's like I was watching the trailer, and I'm like this. So it didn't really have any lasting effect on me. So I went with Knocked Up.
Okay,
that's fair.
Yeah. All right, last one. This is the last one in the bracket. We have La La Land versus The Notebook, and La La Land. It has a really cool visual style, and it has a good score. I'm not as crazy about songs as a lot of people were, and for me it definitely got overhyped, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad movie. Great chemistry between the leads, and I guess our Ryan Gosling showdown here.
Right.
The Notebook is I think probably the best Nicholas Sparks movie. And you had to include one Nicholas Sparks in this bracket. But I think the characters are kind of unlikable.
Yep.
Poor James Marsden. He gets the shaft in every movie, even the X-Men movies.
Seriously. Well, 27 Dresses.
Yeah, true.
That's like, I think the one movie where he gets the girl.
So, I mean, if you'd asked me this 6 months ago, I would have definitely gone with The Notebook because I was just kind of La La Land fatigued. But I think La La Land's probably the better movie. So I'm going to go with La La Land.
I think this is one of the ones I was most interested in as far as where we would land in the bracket because La La Land was so hyped up and everyone seemed to love it much. And then The Notebook, like you said, is the best Nicholas Sparks movie, probably. But I had to go with The Notebook. I agree with you what you said. They're not necessarily the most likable characters and there's certainly flaws, but we went to college, Sean and I did near where they filmed The Notebook. And so we went on a date to where they filmed it. And so it's solid nostalgia, solid nostalgia. We watched The Notebook and then all that right as we started dating. So I have fond memories of The Notebook and like I said, went to school in that area. So I'm willing to concede that La La Land is technically the better movie, but I'm going to go with The Notebook anyway.
So I'm not a Ryan Gosling fan.
Oh dear.
There's not any movies of his that stand out to me. And so it's like, I get irritated by the way, I mean, I think he's a good actor for what he does, but it's like, I sat there and I was looking at his movies. I'm like, nope, don't like it. So, and La La Land had way too much hype for what it was.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
We all agree on that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think for me, that's why I went with The Notebook. It's just, I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time and I have no desire to see it again, but I also don't want to see La La Land. So, but I think that's because I am not a fan of his. So
starting in round 2, how are you guys doing as far as time?
I'm good.
Good. Okay. And these next rounds should be a lot faster because we've already sort of said our thoughts. So, okay. So next we have Roman Holiday versus Bringing Up Baby. And I'm going to go with Bringing Up Baby. It's just so funny.
Man, I don't know what this is going to be. It might take longer for me because now I'm going to have to think about it in the context of what we went through. And I don't know. I guess I'm going to go with Bringing Up Baby as well. I think Roman Holiday is more classic, but I think Bringing Up Baby is just what I would pick on a normal day to watch.
See, I'd pick Roman Holiday. I love that it's not a typical love story. It's like he's just took her out on a day. I mean, obviously there's feelings and, but it's just, it couldn't continue on because, she's the princess. Right. But I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it's really good.
It is good.
It wasn't like either of them were upset about it. She was so thankful to him and he has this memory he'll never forget.
Yeah, that was really lovely.
Yeah. But Bring Up Baby is just so funny. I don't know. The laughs win for me. But yeah. Okay.
The physical humor in that is just
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay. Next we have Titan Showdown. We have Casablanca versus Singing in the Rain. I'm gonna go with Singing in the Rain. It's just again the laughs win. It's so funny. Casablanca is more of a drama. But I don't know, just a little Singing in the Rain is a little bit faster paced, I think. But you do have the big ballet in there in the middle, I guess. But I don't know.
I forgot about that.
I forgot about that too.
Gotta dance. Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough. I love both those movies, but I'm gonna go with Singing in the Rain.
I think I'm also going to go with Singing in the Rain. I did forget about the ballet, which I'll dock at a couple points for that, but just rewatchability. And I like the songs in it. And I know this is a weird reason to like it, but I love that I'm pretty sure they dubbed the voice of the actress that was playing the girl who was dubbing the actress. like there's some sort of sordid backstory where even though the whole movie is kind of about, her real voice being heard, it's not her real voice.
That's
So
funny.
that just made me laugh. But I love Singing in the Rain. And like you said, it's just, I think the tonality of it for me pushes it over Casablanca.
See, I'm going with Singing in the Rain also, but I feel like it's something the whole family can watch. Whereas Casablanca, I think kids will get bored. I mean, I watched Singing in the Rain as a kid, and I sang with them and danced with them and all that stuff. So I don't remember the ballet, but I'm not surprised if I danced when I was a kid with it.
So Rabbit Trail, did you see Tom Holland's version?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to. Well,
I'll look that up when we're done.
Yes, he did. What is it? Lip sync battle.
Oh no, I did not see that.
It starts with Singing in the Rain, and I'll let you figure out where it ends. But it's
nice.
It's phenomenal.
That's really cool.
Please check it out and then let me know what you think.
Definitely.
And I'm so excited that you haven't seen it yet because I'm so excited for you to see it.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so next we have Say Anything versus Titanic. And it might sound crazy, madness, but I'm actually going to go with Say Anything just because I think the script is so good. Whereas the script in Titanic is not the best, but it certainly is like a bigger picture. Like it's putting up a small picture versus like a big picture. So it's tough. But anyway, I would go Say Anything just because I think the script is so good.
I agree with what you're saying, but I have to go with Titanic. Just again, loyalty. I put enough money into the box office that I deserve to say that it's Titanic. I agree with what you said, but Titanic's just the winner for me in that one.
Yeah, it's a good movie, I think.
I pick Say Anything.
Look at that, an upset.
I know that movie. That movie to me holds the test of time better than Titanic does.
Yeah. Say Anything is so well written. Like it's just, it's so good. It defies so many coming of age tropes and it's just great. All right. Next we have Overboard versus Grease. And I'm actually going to go with Overboard. Just because I don't know. I have issues with Grease just because of the messaging at the end. But there's some weird messaging in Overboard, so I don't know. It's just a weird messaging bracket.
Weird messaging bracket.
But I don't know. I just like Overboard better than Grease.
I might surprise you. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Overboard as well, just because it's different. Grease is good for what it is, but like you said, there's some messaging issues, and just as far as like. Again, if I'm just sitting at home and I want to watch a movie, I'm going to be more likely to choose Overboard than I am Grease.
I'm going to pick Overboard for the same exact reason. I'm going to pick a movie to watch. Like if I were to go to Netflix right now and be like, okay, between these two, it's going to be Overboard.
Yeah.
Look at Overboard. Okay.
Look at that.
Next we have Princess Bride versus Sleepless in Seattle. These are so different. It's really hard, but I'm going to go with Princess Bride.
Goodness, I don't want to make this choice, but I'm going to, and I'm going to go with Princess Bride as well. It's just classic.
That's same for me. 100%. Okay. I love Princess Bride.
It's so good. All right, Some Kind of Wonderful versus Notting Hill, and I'm gonna go with Some Kind of Wonderful. I love the script in that one. I mean, I love Notting Hill too. It's tough, but I'm gonna go with Some Kind of Wonderful.
Yeah, that one's tough for me, just because they're so different. I'm gonna have to go with Notting Hill just because it's one I've watched more. But I like both of them.
All right, gotta break the tie.
Tiebreaker.
I'm gonna go with Some Kind of Wonderful.
Ooh. Yes.
I'm not. I didn't say this in the first one. I'm not a huge Hugh Grant fan. And the movies I've watched, Notting Hill is one of the few that I can deal with him in it, but it's not my favorite by all means. So
okay, real quick plug for Hugh Grant. Sorry. Mickey Blue Eyes.
I did like that movie. That's one of the ones I liked.
That is hilarious. That's one of my favorite movies. It's so funny. He's so good in it. And it's not his normal shtick.
Yeah.
Do you guys see Paddington 2?
No.
I've seen part of it. My children have seen it multiple times, but I've only seen part of it.
It's so good. And in my opinion, it's one of the best family films in a long time.
Well, it's Rotten Tomatoes.
And he is so great in that. Like, he's just totally making fun of himself as this like foppish actor. And he's
sounds like you'll like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah.
He makes fun of himself. He might be.
No,
all right.
my nephews and niece love Paddington 2, and they keep
It's-
telling me I need to see it. So I've got a feeling when we visit this summer, I'll be watching it.
Yeah. It's so good. I just love it. All right. Next is like the 90s showdown. Clueless versus Beauty and the Beast. And I don't know. As a Disney girl, I guess I should feel compelled to go with Beauty and the Beast, but you're right. The live action remake did expose some problems in that movie with she's kind of a snot. Belle. She like goes to the town and she's just like, wow, you're all not as good as me. And and so
Good morning.
but I do love the songs. The songs are so good, and Gaston is so great.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Clueless. Like, Clueless is so iconic to my teenage years. This is just so hard. I'm gonna like you guys go first, then I'll decide. I can't decide.
Well, I do have to say, with the problems that it brought to light, it also fixed some of the problems in the other movie, the animation.
It fixed problems, but then it added new problems.
Agreed. I was happy that they at least acknowledged there were issues originally. Like, was he 10 when he was cursed? What's going on?
Right, yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with Clueless.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I don't know.
It's hard. It's really hard.
I feel like I should say Beauty and the Beast. But
that's where I'm at. I feel like I should say Beauty and the Beast, but my gut is telling me Clueless.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it's hard because I love Beauty and the Beast, but like for a Disney movie, it's great. But for like a romantic comedy,
that's true.
It's if we're going for the comedy side of it, it has some, but Clueless is way better in that aspect.
Yeah,
that's
true.
A fair point.
All right, good. You guys made it, so I didn't have to.
You didn't have to. Well, yes. I think you should pick a side anyway.
All right, I will go with Beauty and the Beast just because the songs are so great. But it has to get a vote at least.
Yeah.
All right, so we have Tangled versus Pretty Women. That's an odd matchup. Definitely Tangled for me. I like Pretty Women. It's fun, but Tangled is just so great for me.
I'm completely torn because, like on the previous one, if we're talking about romantic comedies, I'm going to pick Pretty Woman over Tangled.
Mm-hmm.
But Tangled is just a movie that I love. And like I said, especially in my household, it's one that I vote for a lot. But I'm going to go with Pretty Woman.
Mm.
I'm going to go with the animated. I'm going with Tangled.
What? Amazing.
Because there's humor in that Disney movie way more than in Beauty and the Beast.
That's true.
And I'm like, so for me, it's like, and it's sweet, it's fun, and I love that movie.
I love Max. I don't think Max. We said that last week. He's so great.
And Pascal.
Yes, Pascal.
So good. And it's actually, I think you make an argument that Tangled is Disney's first romantic comedy because like they spent a lot of time together as a couple, Flynn and Rapunzel, and the banter is pretty classic rom-com, really.
That's really true. In the very beginning, when she's justifying her reasoning for going with him, making a terrible decision, really. Like that's the best. That whole little exchange is so solid.
Yeah. So next is a really hard one for me as well. We've got You've Got Mail versus Dirty Dancing. Both these movies are so iconic in my life, and I quote them a million times, and I love them both so much. But I'm gonna go with You've Got Mail just because I love Nora Ephron's writing so much, but I really do love both these movies. So,
this is easier. I mean, it doesn't make any sense that it's easier, but You've Got Mail is just one of my top random go-to movies. So I love You've Got Mail, so I'm gonna go with it. I love Dirty Dancing, but You've Got Mail wins this one for me.
So we're all putting Baby in a corner then.
Yeah, we are all putting Baby in a corner.
You've Got Mail.
Is that all right? Sorry, Baby.
Versus Greek Wedding. I'm gonna go with Greek Wedding just because I think it's funnier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Big Fat Greek Wedding as well.
So am I.
Okay. Have Moonstruck versus Slumdog Millionaire. And I'm going to. I really like both these movies, but I'm gonna go with Moonstruck just for nostalgia because I loved it longer.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'm gonna go with Moonstruck for tone. that's my tiebreaker between any of these that I get really hung up on. Like, which one would I watch faster or more readily on any given day?
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely go with Moonstruck as well.
Yeah.
Look at that.
All right. And then we have 500 Days of Summer versus The Notebook. Definitely 500 Days of Summer for me. Just even though both these movies actually kind of have unlikable characters. But at least like Joseph Gordon-Levitt character is pretty likable. And it's just has a lot of creative touches.
Well, I guess he's not always likable, but
yeah,
as a person, he seems pretty likable.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with 500 Days of Summer.
I'm gonna go with The Notebook again for all my biased reasons I stated before.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with The Notebook as well.
Okay.
Wow, even though you don't like Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, look at that.
I don't know. 500 Days of Summer just doesn't resonate with me at all.
Yeah. All right, now we are in the semifinals. This is so exciting. Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. We have Bringing Up Baby versus Singing in the Rain. And I'm going to go with Bringing Up Baby just because I think it's funnier.
Yeah. Oh, pass. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you'll have to be the tiebreaker because I'm going to be Singing in the Rain. So sorry.
Oh, no, that's even more pressure. Okay. So.
I'm just jumping that in there right now so I don't have to be a tiebreaker.
Oh, no. Yeah, that makes everything much worse. Being a tiebreaker. I'm sorry. I just realized that you've been in that role this whole time. So my apologies. It's about time that you get a break. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to go Singing in the Rain just for nostalgia. Yeah. It's just what is you said I've loved it longer.
All right, Singing in the Rain. It's so good.
But that one is tough.
That was a really hard one.
All right, so we have Say Anything versus Overboard, and I'm just gonna go with Say Anything because I think the script is just so great, and Overboard has its issues. Even though it is funnier. If I was just going off, Say Anything's not really that funny. It's a drama.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna go Say Anything as well.
I'm also going with Say Anything.
It's really so good. You should have Durbin do a theological analysis. There's lots of good stuff in there.
I don't think he likes that movie.
Oh.
So that would have to be somebody else would have to convince him on.
It'd be more objective of an analysis then.
Probably.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, next we have Princess Bride versus Some Kind of Wonderful. And Princess Bride, I mean, it's just so iconic. It's so fun. Some Kind of Wonderful is just, I think it's really good for the kind of movie it is, but it's just a tough competitor. So.
Yeah, I think Princess Bride, hands down.
Yeah, same here. Princess Bride's going to be the hardest one to beat, I think, in this program.
I know. It's so good. Okay, next we have Clueless versus Tangled. And I gotta go with Clueless. It's just so funny.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You're going to have to break a tie because I'm going with Tangled.
I think I'm going to go with Tangled, too.
Look at that.
I love Clueless.
Look at the animated movie making it.
I know. I love animated movies. So that's just, I don't know. I love that movie so much. I'm probably going to watch that this afternoon.
That's a good idea.
That's like so kind of how I feel right now.
Yeah, it's so good. All right. You've Got Mail versus My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I'm going to go with You've Got Mail. I just love it so much.
I'm going to agree.
Oh, well, then I was going to do My Big Fat Greek Wedding. So
I'm sorry. Well, you can, next time you can go first and I'll break the tie. I have to go. You've Got Mail. I love My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I actually want to watch that one. I haven't seen it recently and I need to. So I definitely want to watch it again. It's certainly rewatchable, very endearing. Mm-hmm. You've Got Mail is
it's a classic.
I did a podcast on You've Got Mail with my friend Christine, and I swear the whole time we were just like quoting like things. Like we're like, oh, that part's so funny, and that part's so funny. I'm like, it's probably not that interesting to listen to, but oh well.
Like you could watch the movie or you could listen to our podcast.
All right. So next we have Moonstruck versus The Notebook, and I'm going to give it to Moonstruck.
I need to watch again Moonstruck, but I have to go with The Notebook. Just stick with my little nostalgia.
Yeah.
I You're dropping Ryan Gosling out.
Oh,
Yes!
Moonstruck's the winner. Kick him out. Get him out of that bracket.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now,
Oh my
we're on the
goodness.
next bracket.
No.
It's
Gonna
gonna
get
keep getting harder and harder.
I know. But we have Singing in the Rain versus Say Anything. It's pretty tough, like, to even compete with Singing in the Rain. I think it's so iconic. Even though I think that Say Anything's probably it doesn't have the ballet kind of boring spot. That'd be the only thing going for it. I mean, I like ballet, but I don't know, it's just kind of random in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's just that old school thing that they did.
Yeah.
Randomly throw in a music number just because.
Or just have dancing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm gonna go with Singing in the Rain.
I am gonna go Say Anything.
Yeah.
Shockingly. Shockingly to me. I don't know if y'all are surprised. I'm surprised. I love Singing in the Rain. I voted for it in the previous 3 brackets.
Yeah.
But as far as romantic comedy, and again, what I would watch on a normal basis, or like I said, if we had a pile of DVDs and we're like, hey, let's watch a rom-com, I would pick Say Anything.
Yeah, Say Anything's really good.
Well, and Say Anything has the classic holding the radio over his head scene, but I've got to go with Singing in the Rain.
Oh, look at that!
I love Singing in the Rain. I
mean, Gene Kelly.
I know, and I didn't hate the ballet scene, but I haven't seen it as an adult recently.
Like, I didn't hate it. It's just random. It doesn't really go into the plot like at all.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't hate. To add some time to the movie.
Yeah, it's just gratuitous ballet.
Like, I can appreciate dance, but yeah. So what are you gonna do? All right. So Singing in the Rain makes it to the finals. It made it in the finals in the Twitter version of this as well, which Beauty and the Beast won. But I feel like in any bracket that I do, because I have so many Disney fans in my Twitter, that Beauty and the Beast is going to win. He won the 90s tournament. It won.
Didn't we knock Beauty and the Beast out last round?
We did.
Yeah, we did. I'm just saying on Twitter.
We're mixing it up.
Yeah, exactly. Look at us. Okay, so we have Princess Bride versus Tangled.
Oh no!
I know. So
I do not like this one.
It's really tough.
Those are probably my top 2 in this whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, then after this, it should be real easy for you.
Yeah.
I gotta go with Princess Bride. Maybe it's just nostalgia, but I really do love Tangled. It's tough.
I don't like this one at all.
Yeah.
Because I want them both to make it to longer, more final rounds. I don't even know how many we have left, but I have to go Princess Bride. It's classic. I love Tangled, like
an
unusual amount. I more than my kids probably like it. They like it, but I love it. And so I wish I could vote for it, but I have to go Princess Bride. It's just, for lack of a better word, iconic and classic.
My only reason for picking Princess Bride is because in Tangled, they knew each other for like 24 hours. And in Princess Bride, they knew each other since they were young. And so I'm like, so to me, that is a little better because, falling in love in 24 hours is possible, but those aren't the strongest long-term relationships. So that's why I'm going to go with Princess Bride.
Never thought about that before.
They're facing a lot of obstacles too, moving forward, getting re-assimilated into her family on top of a new relationship. That be a tough thing to overcome.
That's true. But if you had never met another man before, it might be easier to fall in love in a day.
I mean, it's Eugene.
It's
the most lovable animated males in the history of time.
Sometimes when you know, like, what are you going to do? All right. So next we have You've Got Mail versus Moonstruck. Super tough for me. But I'm going to go with You've Got Mail. I just think Nora Ephron's writing is so funny and she just makes me laugh. But I love both this movie. This is very difficult for me.
This one was a little easier for me than the last one, and I'm just gonna go You've Got Mail because it's in my list.
Yeah, I'm the same way. You've Got Mail beats Moonstruck for me in this one, hands down.
Yeah, You've Got Mail so good. I just love it. Okay,
our next bracket is depressing. I don't know how I'm gonna make a choice.
We're getting down to the very nitty gritty here.
Yeah, see where your true loyalties lie.
Yeah. So we have Princess Bride versus You've Got Mail, and then we'll have our finale. So I'm gonna go with You've Got Mail. I probably won't be the only one, but I just love it so much. And it has something to say about work, I think, that I really connect with. When she loses the store, and she's just talking about change, and how everyone says change is a good thing, but all they really mean is that something you didn't want to have happen has happened.
Oh, that line is so good.
So good. And when he comes and brings her the flowers, and I don't know, I just love that scene too. I think it's so well written. And so I'm gonna go with You've Got Mail.
I thought that Tangled and Princess Bride was going to be the worst thing that I encountered today. I was incorrect. This is just devastating. I feel like I'm losing a part of my soul. And I am almost mortified. I have to go with Princess Bride, and I don't know what to do with myself, which is almost a line in You've Got Mail. What does he say?
Yeah.
I cannot control myself.
Well, I mean,
Princess Bride was harder for me. I'm definitely doing Princess Bride.
All right, Princess Bride goes through.
Oh my word! It's deserved. You've Got Mail is so good.
Yeah,
I love it. Well, it got very far, so I'm proud of it. All right, we're down to the finale. We have Singing in the Rain versus Princess Bride.
Oh man. Because these are both like nostalgia movies for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with. I feel like in my world, a musical is almost always going to beat a non-musical because I love music. So I'm gonna go with Singing in the Rain because it has music and dancing and a funny story.
Mm-hmm.
Princess Bride is super great, but it doesn't have music or dancing.
That is true.
Yeah.
I can't think of any music or dancing.
No.
And I'm trying to think if there's dancing when they sword fight, kind of. But not really.
There's choreography.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember the music towards the end, it didn't have any words, but the really slow, deep music when they're trying to get Wesley, his body to stay up. And
yep.
So
the score is great in Princess Bride.
Yes, it is.
For sure.
But definitely no singing or actual dancing. Oh goodness. I'm gonna go Princess Bride.
Ooh, we got a tiebreaker.
This one was easy for me, Princess Bride. I love but Princess Bride just hits that so much more for me.
Look at that. Princess Bride wins the bracket. This is so exciting.
I thought was going to win. Looking back at the big list, I don't know what I thought would have beat out Princess Bride, but I'm excited it won.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Well, thank you guys so much for doing this. This was really fun. I had a great time.
It was fun. Thank you for inviting us.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. And we should try do another bracket or do just, I don't know, another podcast. It would be fun.
Yeah.
Together. So thanks so much. And if you guys just want to, I know you don't have like social media, if you just want to plug your husband's channels or whatever, you want to sign off. So I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I don't even really know how to do that. I've heard him do it enough times that I should. But
I should have it memorized by now, right?
Right? Like I can tell when he's wrapping up recording because of the inflections. Yeah. I know he's doing it. But I don't really know what he's saying.
Well,
I'll have to repeat it.
I'll have links to all of that.
Yes, I just know youtube.com, search Durbania.
Yeah, okay, good.
Sean Chandler talks about is, I mean, I know you can find him there. He has a Facebook page too.
Right. Great. Well, thanks so much. And yeah, make sure you're following my channel, Rachel's Reviews, on iTunes and on YouTube. And you can follow me on social media at Smiling LDS Girl. And love to hear what you think and where you would put these movies in the bracket. And thanks so much. And we will talk to you all later. Thanks again, ladies.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.